This is a deck from the 1970s, originally called the New Tarot. This is an edition from the 90s that was printed. Oh, hi, Eve. Yes, I had a wonderful day yesterday. I hope you did as well. And I hope that you're having a good week so far. Thank you for coming. And thank you for moderating. So this was printed in Quebec. You can see that it is captioned in French. They get a little bit loud with that gate, I apologize. But you can see the names of the people who originally illustrated the deck and the copyright date here, 1974. I will be using this deck It's very open to interpretation, and it can be a little bit difficult to tell exactly what the cards are. So I'm going to be giving more firm information on the interpretations, like this, for example, is the Justice card, but it doesn't say 11. You can tell because of the scale here and because the sword aligns it with air sign energy. But I'm going to be focusing more on how the cards make me feel and the interpretations all together and what is shown on the cards, as opposed to necessarily sticking strictly to what the tarot cards are. If that makes sense, you'll see when we get into it. It will become much more clear. So, because we are doing the fire signs reading, I am going to light this very delicious scented candle. This was created by Ormsby Homes, Ormsby Farms. Apparently they also have a YouTube channel that's quite successful. I bought this at a farmer's market near my parents' house in Tucker, Georgia, while I was visiting there. And it smells so good. The fragrance is listed as being amber and driftwood, but there's also like a hint of it smells like a cabin. It smells a bit like a pine forest too. It's a very complex and pleasant scent. And I have burned it a little bit, you can see there. But if you want to smell it, you can. I'll hold it up for you to smell it. And I'm just going to light this candle. And let's see, there we go. There we go. Okay. And if you'd like, you can take some deep, relaxing breaths. And as you inhale, breathe in and focus on so don't take in a very rough inhale. Inhale as softly and gently and smoothly as possible through the nose, through the mouth. It's up to you. Imagine as you take in that air, that breath, that it is moving through all of the cells of your body and bringing in positive vibrations and light, fresh, clean energy. And then as you exhale, just slowly release anything you'd like to let go of. You can even use this opportunity to emotionally release things on the physical plane that you would like to get rid of, such as like old belongings. If you want to feel freed from your emotional attachment to those things, just allow them to be released as you exhale. And we can do this. We'll do it 3 times. And we'll do a count of 4 inhale. And then you can just release at your leisure. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. And then exhale. And inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. And then exhale. And we'll do 1 more. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. And exhale. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And, oh geez. And the candle went out. Sometimes that can happen. It's a very luscious candle. These soy candles too, you can even use them to moisturize your skin. Oh, thank you. So now I'm going to get into the fire sign of Aries. And Aries, if you would allow anything that is concerning you at this time to float up into the forefront of your thoughts. And just allow that to wait there. If it is stressing you out, you can kind of breathe through it. You can kind of just, and then release that energy. And allow it to gently pass. Oh, interesting. There's also a couple of cards in here that are all black and all white. So one of those has come out as well. stamp here. Okay, so Aries. We have showing up in your past the Knight of Swords. And there he is, running full swords blazing into battle. He's got this ferocious steed with skulls draped around its neck. And the Knight of Swords is about this binary type of discernment where things are either right or wrong. There's not any room for gray area in between. I like it, I don't like it. And so you're able to cut out the things you no longer want in your life and hopefully hold on to the things that do bring you happiness, bring you joy. And it's definitely a good step on the path toward trying to raise your vibration and maintain happiness. Oh, Kayla's lovely. Thank you for joining us. Yes, I do crystal scrying for all of the, as an extended for all the videos, and you should be able to join the channel, but I know that some people were having difficulty from their iPhones, that the join button wasn't showing up and that they had to go to like desktop. So that might be something that is going on if you have an iPhone. Typically under where the channel is, it's like right next to where you can subscribe. So if it's not showing up, maybe try looking on the desktop and I can help as much as I can. But honestly, I contacted them about this and they weren't very helpful to me, so I hope that helps. Thank you for asking. So now we can move on to your place of the significator. That's you, Aries. And we have the 8 of Wands showing up reversed. 8 of Wands, it looks almost like these two are entering into a treaty together, right? The 8 of Wands is about swift resolution, endings that are very resolved, everything wrapped up in a neat little package. And this is crossed by this card, which appears blank, but we're also looking at this in terms of the color of the card, in terms of its blankness, and how it relates to this 8 of Wands. So it appears that in the current situation, Aries, there is something which is kind of unresolved at this time. The ending might not be clear. It might not be clear if something is ending or not. And where we have this white card crossing, this shows a great deal of possibility because anything could be drawn on this card, unlike the black card, which can only be drawn on with something that will make the color lighter. So you could use like a whiteout or an opaque ink. You can use pretty much anything to color this in however you would like. And that can be a little daunting too. You can also see the back design where it is held up to the light. The designs on the back of these are really cool. Kayla's lovely. Thank you for joining my channel. I really appreciate your support. And thank you for coming out to my live streams. It's always so good to see you. So there might be a lot of possibility there regarding this particular situation and how to bring it to an ending. Thank you. So down in the MMCLI, we have the 12 houses spread laid out over the Celtic cross. And down here at the bottom, we have the cusp of the 3rd and 4th houses, just the MMCLI. And that shows us the origins and foundations upon which the future will be built. And the card that we have there, this could be the Page of Swords. It could also be the Queen of Swords. It has to do with control of information. So Page of Swords would be bringing in new information. This could be learning new things. It could be researching things on the internet or at the library to find out about a particular topic, educating oneself about certain things. The Queen of Swords is about control of information in that the Queen is promoting her own truth. I'm getting more of a vibe of the Page of Swords for this particular reading. So, over in your perspective on the current situation, and my computer is kind of hyperventilating, so I hope that's not too loud. We have the 8 of Cups. So the 8 of Cups is about leaving behind situations which are almost there, things that are almost complete, but not quite. Walking away from those things. And you can see here, all of these cups are upright. We have 6 cups over here upright. We have 1 cup here upright. And we have 1 cup here, which is upside down. And this could show that the craftsperson is not content with their work here. There's largely a feeling of discontent with this card. We see that the expression on this person's face is very contemplative. They have their arms crossed in a very closed kind of a body language. This large block of void on this side of the card is kind of an indicator that there is a door open here, that this person might decide that this career path no longer brings them fulfillment, and they may decide to journey forth into the unknown. If you are hoping to change careers, you might be taking classes online or doing certain certifications to prepare to switch fields. Here from an outside person's perspective. This could be a boss, a supervisor. It could be a love partner. It could be just a friend group, a parent, anyone involved in your life looking in from the outside. We have the Ten of Cups reversed there. So we do see that there's been the potential for great happiness in a particular situation. And the cups are mostly focused on our emotional states. So the Ten of Cups reversed looks like almost everything was almost perfect. But there were just a few little things out of whack. And that's what we're seeing with the Eight of Cups, too. It could be that you do need to speak your truth in this situation in order to bring things into alignment. But I also bring that Page of Swords energy in because of this card, where we have this blank, this void, such that there are so many things that can fill that space. And it's going to take research and discernment to figure out what you want to put there. So the next card that we have is in the future. And we have the Five of Wands showing up there. Now, cards sometimes show up in the future reversed because they represent potentials, energies that have not materialized in our lives yet, but which either are coming toward us without us knowing, or that the potential exists there, and if that's something we want, we can have it. In this particular case, you can see that all of these people are working together. The gist of the Five of Wands is that everyone is basically kind of at the same level, but are working at advancing themselves individually. So that can come through as competition, rivalry. It's not like the Seven of Wands, where one person has risen above and is now being attacked by others. This card showing up in the reverse definitely shows the potential for that to come through for you in the future, Aries, if that's something you want. And especially if you are looking to advance yourself through gaining more knowledge or information about things. Here in the hopes and fears, we have the Ten of Swords. You might be afraid that things are going to end poorly in a situation. We have this Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands is a very different energy from the Ten of Swords. They're both talking about endings. They're both talking about finite situations. But where with the Eight of Wands, there's not a lot of pain implied. And even if the Eight of Wands is in the reverse, it can indicate that the ending is coming, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the ending will be full of strife. Where we see the Ten of Swords reversed in the hopes and fears, you could be afraid that the ending might be painful, or that there will be a lot of things that are unresolved about this ending. And that also kind of coming with this Eight of Cups energy. You know, we have this white card representing a void. We have this space on the Eight of Cups representing a void that needs to be filled, or at the very least, that a door or a screen or other boundaries could be put in front of the void to prevent it from consuming us. So, up here in the midheaven, we have a very interesting balance. We have, this was the card from the Imam Silai, where we have either the Page or the Queen of Swords. Here in the midheaven, we have either the Page or Queen of Pentacles. And you can see that she's got these pentacles kind of balanced. One she's holding up, the other she's kind of holding like a bowling ball, it looks like. Her stance is very balanced. It's interesting how the void space here is used to make it almost look like she's got two sets of legs. Visually, it's kind of a confusing card. And I take this to be the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is about fertile proliferation. She has on this kind of girdle representing reproductive properties. And the Queen of Pentacles is water of earth energy. So you imagine watering the ground for the crops to grow. There is a certain balance to her energy. It's earth sign energy. And it's showing up in the reverse in the midheaven because the destiny of the situation is that the potential exists for this fertile proliferation of resources to occur. And now your final outcome, Aries. We had quite a few minor arcana cards in your reading. I don't think we had any major arcana cards for you this week, Aries. And the situations do seem a little bit vague and unclear at this time. The final outcome energy for you, this is the King of Wands. So this would be your energy, Aries, showing up in the reading. And probably what you are being instructed to do at this time. The King of Wands is a very passionate person. This is air of fire energy. Somebody who is very creative, very charismatic, but also has a finely tuned sense of discernment. So, where we had this situation that was almost perfect, but not quite. The King of Wands has that creative power to go out and find what it is that he's yearning for. Cups and wands are kind of opposite ends of a similar spectrum in that the cups are very much our emotional states, but the wands are very much our passions. So there is going to be a place in the middle where the two meet. And I think the key really to your whole reading, Aries, is this blank card. That all of these things you're afraid of having end, things you're afraid or wanting to learn more about certain things, the lack of emotional fulfillment. I think a lot of those things are answered by the idea that you, Aries, have the power to go out and create whatever it is that you desire. So that is going to conclude the Aries reading for this week. Excuse me, I do have some air escaping from my body at this time. I apologize. The burdens of the mortal coil, am I right? So, as was mentioned in the chat, I will be going over after this and doing crystal scrying for the extended. And I will be using this really beautiful labradorite palm stone. So if that interests you, you are cordially invited. But of course, your presence is appreciated in whatever form it takes. So let's move on now to the sign of Leo. And I do these readings. Let's see, what is that? I did have the Six of Cups kind of fly off the top there, but I'm going to put it back in and shuffle some more. You can watch for Sun, Moon, Rising, North Node, Venus. You can watch for any placement about which you are curious. My Sun and my Mars are both in Leo. But I won't be following the instructions that I'm about to give you next because I don't want to overly influence the reading. But if you'd like, you can allow any issues about which you'd like to receive guidance to kind of rise to the forefront of your thoughts. If these are things that you find stressful, just gently breathe through them. Breathe in divine white light of source. And then exhale and release any of that tension or discomfort. Just allow it to pass right back to source and be transmuted. Interesting. Very interesting so far. All right, we've got a couple of fours here. We have one major arcana, some fours, some twos. Oh, two major arcana. Okay. Let's see what we have here. So, for the past, in the past we have the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is a card about planning. It's about vision boards. It's about process of charting a course. On this particular card, we have two people entangled with each other. So the Two of Wands can also be about passion between two people. This card is in the reverse in the past, so that tells me that particular situation, while it is influencing the present, itself has ended. That process has ended. So if it was a planning process, that part is complete. Here in the current situation, Leo, you got the other blank card. You got the void card. Scary, right? I wouldn't be too scared. It's just the unknown. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Because that card is crossed by the Nine of Cups, which is about wish fulfillment. We have this guy down here telling this person up here on the balcony, all of your hopes and dreams are about to come true. She's got this Tower of Cups behind her. He could be saying, hey, I found that last cup at the store. Do you want me to go get it for you and bring it to you? I can toss it right up to you. It lands gently in her lap. The greatest burden, and I'm going to bring this card back up for a minute. So the greatest burden that we have when we put in a lot of effort into our vision boards, our manifestations, is letting go of the expectation of result. And this is kind of what we're looking at in your current situation, Leo. That your wish is going to come true. Your wish is coming true. But you might not be able to see it. Or you might not understand that's what's happening because it doesn't look like how you expect it to look. Down here in the MMCLI, so when we have the 12 houses spread laid out over the Celtic cross, down here at the bottom, the cusp of the 3rd and 4th houses is the MMCLI, and that is the origins. Let's see if that helps. The MMCLI is the origins of the situation that will eventually become the destiny. So what we have down in the MMCLI is the Judgment card. And one of the water signs yesterday got the Judgment card in this placement. So it might have been Scorpio. So if you have Scorpio placements, you might want to watch that video as well. The Judgment card, we see all of these people dancing in this circle. And above them, they're manifesting the harmony of the universe. It almost looks like a yin-yang, but not quite, you know. But I think that's what's being implied here. And all of these people are doing their part. They might not all necessarily be able to work as hard as others. We have some children here. We have this guy who looks a little bit infirm next to somebody who looks very robust. So the point is not that everyone be pulling their weight. The point is that everyone be doing their best to elevate the vibration of everyone overall, because the gist of the Judgment card, one of the interpretations, and we'll get to the other one in just a second, is that it is a evaluation or a test by which one is going to be elevated to another plane, to another level of existence. The Judgment card can also be, you know, as I was mentioning, like making the judgment, well, some of these are children. They're not going to be able to work as hard. This guy looks infirm. Maybe he's perfectly fine. There sure are a lot of women in this circle. So we have judgments like that too. And those are judgments which will be limiting long term in the ability of this wonderful circle of people to elevate that vibration to where it needs to be. So that evaluation process for you, Leo, is going to set the stage for how things are going to go when we get to the destiny position up here in the midheaven. From your perspective, we have the King of Cups. Now, the King of Cups is somebody who's very nurturing. You can also tell that he's quite an adventurer. This could be the Knight of Cups also, because I think the King of Cups might look slightly different. As I said, this deck is very open to interpretation. And you can kind of go by how you feel about it. But I do think this is the Knight of Cups. This is about trusting your heart and trusting your gut. But it is somewhat still. The Knights are fire of, in this case, water energy. The Knight of Swords would be like fire of air energy. It's this binary discernment. So trusting your heart and your gut over your brain. How does this make me feel? How do I feel in this situation? If I feel good, I will pursue the situation. If I feel bad, then I will withdraw from the situation. It can be very useful in different periods of our lives to trust our intuition in situations, as long as we are also using much more finely tuned areas of our discernment as well. And this could be part of this evaluation. What makes me feel good? What makes me feel bad? And why do I feel that way? That's where we get into the gray areas of discernment. Why am I having this feeling? Withdrawing yourself from a situation long enough that you're able to parse out exactly why you're having the feelings that you are. Here in the outside perspective looking in, we have the Queen of Wands, and she is such a charismatic character. She shows up at a party, and immediately the party has begun. Just lights up the room. Very charismatic, very caring also. Always encouraging others to come out of their shell. This would be your energy, Leo. So, especially for the Leo sun signs, this is going to be how you are presenting yourself to the world at this time. Leo rising as well, because I think Leo sun, Leo rising, that's how you are presenting yourself internally and how you're presenting yourself to the world. So, the fact that other people are seeing you in this way, this could be coworkers, bosses, could be a romantic partner, it could be potential employers or potential collaborators. Here in the future, we have the Two of Swords, and this card is very interesting to find in the future because it represents a choice, a binary choice between two options. So, am I going to stay at this company? Am I going to try to get a different job? Lots of things can be broken down into binary choices, even if you have several choices available. You can break it down into I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do this. All right, next question. So, this card showing up in the reverse, we do have the potential there for this choice to occur. Sometimes when the card shows up reversed, it can be that the choice has already been made. But in the future, a lot of times it means the potential is there, or we don't yet see the means by which things will occur. So now we're going to look at the hopes and fears. Oh, and before I move on, just quickly, remember that we had the planning process here in the past, and the choosing process then will be occurring in the near future. The hopes and fears, we have the Temperance card. And this is very interesting because I can tell by the number down here, XIV, that this is the Temperance card, but it does look a lot like the Devil card, right? So here we have this feminine looking figure kind of literally put into a pedestal, putting this person on a pedestal, putting this person on a cross. And we have this figure here who really doesn't have any legs or lower body. It could be that this represents that this figure is a celestial being and doesn't really need all of the body parts. We do have a pentacle behind this person's head, so that's not strictly religious in a Judeo-Christian sense. It could be that this is more like a deity, like the Great Father or something like that. He's not got any like horns or anything like that. I think they just wanted to leave it as open as possible. If you look very closely, this person does still have this fire triangle around their neck. It's kind of tied into the pentagram behind them, that these lines coming down form that triangle. And that is because the Temperance card is the card of Sagittarius. So you're hoping that you've practiced enough. You're hoping that you've put in enough work to be able to accomplish the things that you want to do. This wish fulfillment, you hope that you've put in enough work to manifest that, and that your life will be balanced and you will be able to maintain that level of mastery over your surroundings. So up here in the midheaven, this is going to be the result of this elevation. We have the Four of Swords, and it's reversed. And the Four of Swords is very interesting to have here because it has to do with rest, rejuvenation, and it being reversed in the future could mean that the potential for this is coming. So if you have been feeling burnt out in your life, you could be on your way to a period of rest. Many people do not dream of labor. They dream of a life of leisure. And if that is the case for you, that is what I see coming in. The final outcome card for you today is another card implying rest. This is the Four of Pentacles. So here we see somebody who is conserving their strength by being on bed rest. It looks like this figure is some kind of doctor or somebody who is caring for them. So this could be about conserving your energy at this time. It can be about conserving your material resources as well. But kind of allowing yourself not necessarily to maintain a holding pattern, but very much what we were looking at with this Judgment card. They're all still dancing in that circle, and the more they dance in that circle, the higher the vibration becomes. So all of these things that you're doing to raise your vibration, continue to do those things. And it will lead you to this. Well, the wish fulfillment is already happening. You just are not able to see it for what it is. All right, Leo. So that is going to conclude your reading for this week. And now we're going to move on to the sign of Sagittarius. I do want to mention that after this reading, I always go and do some crystal scrying over in the extended. And this is the crystal that I'm using this week, which is a lovely labradorite palm stone. So if that interests you, you are cordially invited, but your presence is appreciated in whatever form it takes. So, Sagittarius, if you would, just relax. You can sigh out all of that tension if you like. If you want, you can allow any thoughts or issues that you've been having that you want to address in the reading to float up to the forefront of your thoughts. And I will shuffle your cards. And then we can get started. Okay, so strong major arcana showing right off the top of the reading. And that Six of Cups came back out. So some of you might have Leo and Sagittarius placements. Or you might be a Leo dealing with a Sagittarius. Oh, Eve, thank you for asking me about that. It depends on how many submissions I get. I haven't checked in a while, so I will check and see how many submissions I might have there. I think maybe like 4 or 5 would be enough to do a short video. But thank you for asking. I'll get to it. So Sagittarius, let me write down your timestamp. I don't want to forget. Sagittarius. Oh, good. Yeah, I enjoy doing those actually. We have, this is a bit like the Page of Pentacles and a bit like the Fool. Page of Pentacles because we have this atomic shape down here. A bit like the Fool because he's got no head, and we have the little dog companion here. The Fool is about new beginnings. And this atomic particle, you have to think about it in terms of being the very origin of substance. So we're not even sure what kind of atomic particle this is. It could be gold. It could be platinum, something quite valuable. It could be helium. Probably not helium because that's a lot of orbits, but it could be any number of substances, and it could go into creating all kinds of molecules. So the possibilities with the Fool are quite high. We do have the loyal dog companion here. We have this figure in a T pose, and the feet are pointing in two different directions. As I mentioned, this figure doesn't really have much of a head. We have the echo of this imagery here, the idea that the brain could conceive of anything at this point. But the figure is not really headed in any particular direction. They're not totally paralyzed, and we can actually see a lot of movement in the card. We can tell that the wind is at the face of this figure because the sleeves and the hem of the tunic are being blown back. So we know that you're moving forward into the wind. This card is in the reverse in your past, Sagittarius. So it could be that recently you had to make a new start at something, or that you have given up a lot of your preconceived notions and baggage and are starting from a brand new and fresh mindset. In the place of the significator, we have the Hierophant reversed, and that would definitely echo that sentiment. The Hierophant is all about preconceived notions, about people trying to conform to the status quo. The Hierophant is someone who acts as an intermediary between the higher power and the general public. So circumventing the need for that. We do even have on this card somewhat harsh imagery of the Fasces here. So if any of you are familiar with that period of history, talking about the conformity that comes with fascism. So where we see this card showing up in the current situation in the reverse, we're looking at somebody rejecting that status quo, somebody rejecting these preconceived ideas of what should be. And crossing this, we have the star. And the star is about ideological freedom in a lot of ways. The star is also about the emotional energy that you put into situations. So the star card is Aquarius energy, but Aquarius as the cup bearer. So you can see sometimes the energies that you put into social situations kind of spill out onto the ground. Sometimes you're just creating an echo chamber. But there are times too where that water is carried to water crops or to provide sustenance to others. So down here in the MMC lie, I imagine that there's a 12 houses wheel laid out on top of my Celtic cross spread. And down in the MMC lie, that's the cusp of the third and fourth houses, we're looking at the origins and foundations of future situations. And we have in that place the World card. And each of these figures represents one of the 4 fixed signs. We have this androgynous figure here in the middle who is supporting the entirety of the world through their action. It's about completion. It is about concretion. The World card is also associated with Saturnian energies, so a very slow-moving energy, but a very solid energy, very protective energy. So something could be coming to completion for you. It might have to do with these preconceived notions being cast off. But that casting off of the notions that you need to conform to anything in particular might also be a side effect of things that are happening for you in the material world. So it could be completion of a job, it could be completion of a degree of study, it could be getting to the end of a project, a personal project. So all of those things are possible here. The star also is about your hopes and dreams coming true. So allowing yourself to free up your mind, then that energy is free to flow into your life. From your perspective, we have the Prince or Knight of Pentacles. And this card is in the reverse. So you might at this time feel like money is not flowing into you very quickly. That more money is going out than is coming in. But remember, that is your perspective. From an outside perspective, we have the Hermit card. And the Hermit is somebody who secludes themselves for their own spiritual enlightenment, but then is also shining that enlightenment as a beacon to others. So it could be that you haven't really been hanging out with people a lot, but you're still posting regularly on social media, and keeping the content of what you post very positive. You might not be then doing the doom scrolling thing also through social media, but rather going on there, posting what it is that you want to say, and then logging off of the platform without interacting too much with other people. Or you could be secluding yourself and working on yourself, but also occasionally reaching out via text message or something like that to friends. Here in the future, we have the Queen of Cups. And this person is somebody who is very nurturing, very motherly in a lot of ways. Doesn't have to be a woman. This is water of water energy. So, somebody who is able to fill the cups of others, whether or not her own cup is full. Still waters running deep. This person might also have an inclination toward not really expressing their own emotions to others as a way of protecting the people around them from their own turmoils. So, this could be somebody who is coming into your life in the future, Sagittarius. They are in the upright. It could be somebody who acts as a benefactor, or it could be somebody who just helps you to move through a certain part of your life. Could be a love interest for some of you as well. And it would definitely make it so that you wouldn't be alone. So whether this is a love interest or not, somebody who will be kind of pulling you out of that hermit energy, the perceived hermit energy. Here in the hopes and fears, we have the Nine of Pentacles. And this card, we see the figure here talking to the gardener, ordering him around, telling him what to do, having all of these flowers around them. So a bit of a haughty energy in this deck, actually. A bit of a administrative energy. But this is showing up in your hopes and fears, possibly because you're afraid that you're going to have to work menial tasks, or that you'll never be in a position where you don't have to work. And that would go along with what we see where you have this, from your perception, the Knight of Pentacles, that more money is going out than is coming in, and the money's not coming in fast enough. So up here in the midheaven position, this is going to be the result of this cycle completing for you, Sagittarius. We have the Six of Cups reversed. Now, the Six of Cups reversed could be something returning from the past that you don't yet see. But a lot of times when the Six of Cups shows up in the reverse, even in the future, I look at it more as an opportunity for you to let go of things from the past, to allow those things to gently float into your memory and not worry about whether or not they will be returning to you, but rather focusing on the future. We do have another six showing up, this time in the form of the Lover's card. And the Lover's card showing up in the future like this could definitely be an indicator that love will be coming in for you in the future, especially because we do have this Queen of Cups here. And sometimes the Queen of Cups can represent a love interest, whether masculine or feminine. We also see here that when this card is upright, we have emotion. And when it is in the reverse, emotion in the form of water sign energy. That's the water sign triangle. When it is in the reverse, we do have fire sign energy, which is more aligned with passion. The Lover's card can also be, much like the Two of Swords, a binary choice. So perhaps you will have the option to get into a relationship with somebody if that is what you want. We didn't really resolve the money issue, did we, Sagittarius? I'm going to pull one more card just because I know. Okay. So, regarding the money situation, we have the Three of Wands, which is an excellent energy to have. It means that the energies that you have put out there will soon be returning to you. All right, so that is going to conclude the fire sign readings for today. I want to thank all of you for joining me today. I want to thank our lovely moderator. Thank you for keeping our chats clean and high vibration. And I look forward to seeing all of you. Oh, I am going to go over now and do the crystal scrying on the member side of the channel. And I look forward to seeing all of you again very, very soon.